There's some pretty interesting crafting and gathering changes happening right now in the New World Season 2 PTR, and I'm going to show you exactly what those are in this video. These changes are not listed in the patch notes anywhere, but they are pretty big for new players or returning players coming into the game. For a lot of people that have been playing the game for a very long time, these changes may not be of very much interest to you, and you may be wondering why I think these are going to be a big deal for the future. I think these changes could be well timed because whenever we get an influx of players for the expansion towards the end of the year, that'll mean these changes will help those incoming players and hopefully retain some of those players that come back to the game, or at least we hope we have a lot of players come back to the game. So what are these changes that we're talking about? We're going to go over the gathering changes first. If we go up to a tannery and we type in research notes, we can see here that we can now craft research notes for gathering. This is much like crafting research notes for all the crafting professions, and you get those scraps from perfect salvages. Well, now we're going to be able to get new resources called bones. These are going to come from skinning, and then every gathering profession has their own version of these. This is going to be a resource you're going to get. It's probably going to be fairly rare, but whenever you get one, you're going to be able to bring it over here and craft a research note. And then of course, these work just like the research notes from the crafting professions. You can just use this research note or craft this in order to gain experience towards this gathering profession. So that skinning, we'll run over here and we'll take a look at mining real fast at the smelter. These have the very same thing. If we look at research notes, you can see here we can mine up now some special type of ore, strange ore, abnormal ore, and unusual ore. And then of course we can use these to craft the research notes. And again, this works for every gathering profession. Now let's talk about the crafting changes. These changes to me are really, really good. So if we go over to one of the crafting stations, we're at the engineering station right now, and we type in Artisan, you can now see that we have some Artisan items that we can craft. This is applied to every single crafting profession. Even cooking has a couple of new foods that we can craft. What these Artisan items are guaranteed 600 gear score items. They can be crafted for fairly cheap. We can see we can craft an Artisan spear for 13 glittering ebony, 5 asmodium, and 2 runic leather. These are not legendary items, but they are guaranteed 600 gear score items. You also are not required to have all of your trophies, your food, your gear, all of the things needed to craft 595 to 600 gear. You don't have to have that in order to get this guaranteed 600 gear score item. Again, this is not going to matter too much for players that have been playing the game for a very long time because you probably already have a lot of really good gear, or at least better than these two perkers. What this is going to do, however, is going to play a major role in new players coming back to the game. That is because right now on live, there is really no reason for you to level up your crafting skills as you level up your character. Because once you hit 60, even if you're 200 in a lot of your crafting skills, you then have to go get your trophies and your gear and all of the things you need in order to craft 595 to 600 gear. And it's also unlikely that you're going to have the money to do so or the gold to do so once you hit that point in your progression. Well, now with this system coming into the game, you are going to be able to craft these guaranteed. And as you can see here, some of these have some really good perks on them. These tools, for example, come with both mining luck and mining yield and alacrity, which I think is very, very good. It also comes with prospector's discipline. These tools are really good. And some of the weapons you can get aren't terrible either. And again, this is a really big deal for newer players because you can now get into guaranteed 600 gear pretty quickly. And if you craft this gear, your gear score is not going to be squished. So as a fresh 60, if your gear score 500, you can immediately craft this item and then have a gear score 600 weapon. This is not going to affect your expertise. You're still going to have to grind that up, but you will have guaranteed gear score 600 item that's not going to be squished down into the middle of 500 and 600, making your gear score 550. This to me is a really, really good change. And if we take a look at the forge, you can do the same thing. We type in Artisan here and you can see that there's an Artisan longsword, comes with keen empowering leaping strike. There's a rapier that has leeching fury enchanted, not bad at all. Then there is a warhammer that has leeching path of destiny enchanted. The great axe comes with insatiable gravity well and enchanted. So as you can see, some of these items are not terrible, especially for someone who is newer trying to get into 600 gear. These are guaranteed 600 gear score with some decent perks on them. And then we have this round shield here that is really good with keen vicious enchanted. This may be something that a lot of players craft, not even just newer players coming into the game. That is an illegal perk combination, so this may change before this hits live, or it may be another whole ring debacle where some of the things get changed and some of them don't. And maybe this one will never get changed. It'll stay just like this forever. Then everyone can have a keen vicious enchanted shield, not sure. But either way, this is coming into the game. I think this is really, really good. And again, I know a lot of you are going to think, well, this doesn't matter. This isn't a big deal, but it could be the foundation for crafting moving forward. These changes need to happen for the game for newer players to feel like they have a much better progression. And whenever players come to the game, you want them to stick around for a long time because their progression feels valuable and it feels worth doing. And we all know right now, whenever you're leveling your crafting as you level your character, it really doesn't matter. It is such a grind, and then it is very difficult as a new player to get into really good gear. So to me, this is a step in the right direction. Here are the two foods you can craft: the Artisan's flatbread and the roasted rabbit. These are very much like the recovery foods, and then the con foods you can craft normally, but these just have a much longer duration. So this may be something you're going to want to craft yourself if you plan on using this food. All these foods are bind on pickup, and so are the weapons and the other gear that you can craft that are artisan versions. And you can see here the look is like a ghostly look. I'm not sure if this is a placeholder for the PTR, if this is how it's going to come into live. To me, this looks really cool. I wouldn't mind seeing these come into live and then using this as a transmog. I do think there's other gear in the game that looks like this, but this would be an easy way to get this gear if you were looking for this look as well. But again, I think that very well could be a placeholder, and that may not be what the gear looks like whenever it hits the live servers. But that'll do it for this one, boys and girls. Just want to make sure I brought that to your attention and brought you guys these changes. Those changes are not in the PTR patch notes, but they are currently on the PTR. To me, I think these are really good. I think this is a step in the right direction to improve crafting and improve the overall character flow whenever you're leveling your character, because whenever I was leveling, I did not care about leveling crafting because I knew what that was entailed later in the game, and there was just really no reason to level it. Well, now maybe we have an actual reason to level that as we level our character, which to me is really good. I think that type of progression is needed in New World early game, and hopefully these types of changes will help to retain players later on down the road. But that's it for this one, boys and girls. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think about these changes down below. Do you not care? Are you happy? Do you think they're good? Do they affect you? Are you a returning player coming back? And maybe you're excited about this as well. But that's it for this one. Thank you guys again for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy New World content, please make sure to like and subscribe. And of course, come hang out over on Twitch, twitch.tv/BDLG. We're live every Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. CST. However, this week I will be going on vacation June the 8th through the 13th, so I won't be around, but we'll be back on the 14th streaming again, and we won't miss another day for a while. But thank you guys for hanging out. I greatly appreciate it. We'll see you next one.